pike units like Hellenic Royal Guard or Silver Shield or Bronze Shield pikemen. And their melee cav is lacking. Missile cav is the regular missile cav. And that's about it for Pergamon. And that's really it for the Black Seas colony as well. They are all hybrid factions. You just have to get used to them, as with all factions. And that's all I can really recommend. Like, I could say, if you're good with a Greek faction, if you're good with one of the other factions that these factions fall into, then you can try them. But I won't say that, because mixing two factions together and trying to do the same gameplay is hard. It's almost impossible. And I've seen it firsthand. People try to, use Cimmeria, for example. Some people who play as the Nomads, which you'll rarely see because they're a cavalry-oriented faction, they'll try to, use all these horse archers and maybe missile infantry and then try to skirmish their way at the same time using hoplites to defend their front. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It's all about what you can do with this faction. Not what you can do with the Greek faction, not what you can do with the Nomads, because I know for sure that I struggle microing missile cav, which is why I always keep them on skirmish mode. And I found that through my playing in both the campaign and multiplayer, that having young axes doesn't hurt. Bringing step spearmen doesn't hurt as well. However, sometimes I decide to not bring these two because they're quite weak. I decide to bring Scythian hoplites because they're useful for helping against heavier cav, even cataphracts. Cimmerian nobles are good for defending your front. Hoplites are always good. Missile infantry. Missile infantry is missile infantry. You can win a missile engagement, you can force your person to come to you. You can force them to charge to you. And you have the added advantage of being able to weaken their line before the main engagement. It helps out, because in Rome 2, it's most of the fighting, most of the engagements rely on numbers. Like, if you're facing another unit that has similar skill, it just comes down to numbers most of the time. In Shogun 2, that wasn't the case. A hero unit would almost always win against a warrior monk, regardless. Like, if you put a katana hero and wanted them to fight a warrior monk, most of 8 out of 10 times the katana hero would come out on top. However, 2 out of 10 times it would come down to, how much damage did they take beforehand? How much are they exhausted and whatnot. In Rome 2, exhaustion still has a huge effect. However, you see it more with the barbarians rather than other factions. Anyway, that's all I can really say for the Black Sea colonies. So I did say I was going to play as all three, and I probably will. However, I'm going to have to make this stream short, because I think Romeo is going to stream. I have to check. I'm not sure if Star-Crossed Kings is going on today. If it is, I'm just going to stop the stream here and then leave and then come back and then watch Star-Crossed Kings and then... So he's not on right now, so I can probably play a game. I'm probably going to start with Cimmeria, because they are who I feel most comfortable with. I like Pergamon and Colchis as well, but Colchis is kind of like, most of the time you actually have to be good. You have to be quick with your brain, and I don't know, they just don't seem like they have the same advantages as the other two factions. Colchis Colchian nobles are nice unit, as I mentioned, but they're not like other noble. They're not like other Halpites that are high tier. They're more like a tier 3 rather than a tier 4. If I get enough viewers and people want me to go into deeper detail, like when it comes to weapon damage, models, exhaustion, I could probably do that. One thing that Cimmeria does lack is their, like I said, their good melee capabilities. Not just now, it's not just with melee cav or missile cav, but it's also in general because spears lose to swords almost all the time. In the same tier, they do lose to spears lose to swords in the same tier. For example, young axes will beat young step spearmen. However, when it comes to cav, the same tier, like the same tier units, spear infantry will come out on top. When it's the same tier with cavalry, cavalry usually comes out on top. And that's just how the combat triangle works in this game. I am going to bring against the Romans 5 of these guys. 3 of them, 4, 7. And I actually don't want to bring any more units. And then another one. And that should do. I mean, this is good enough for me. I'm going to be relying more on having him come to me. And if you've watched my streams, you'll notice that when somebody has missile cav, they'll run them off to the flank or the rear and then try to hit your men in the rear. And you don't have to be scared of them as long as you have missile infantry or some sort of counter. When it came to horse archers, all I did was use Tarantine cav in my last game to scare them off. And I got almost all of them just using Tarantine cav. Why? Because they use javelins. And in reality, the only time a unit runs from a melee unit, like if they have skirmisher mode on, is if they're in javelin range. And that's why when a sword unit runs into a skirmisher unit, they get to throw their javelins off. Now this isn't really a spam of like skirmishers, and I'm not trying to say that I'm using a meta, because this isn't a meta.
Today is the day of battle that we prayed would come. Take up your weapons and make your farewells. Some of you will die in what follows, but our people will have victory.
Why not give up?
Archers! At speed! At the double! Ready for orders!
Orders, Commander!
Archers!
Still my favorite voice actor in Rome 2.
Missiles ready and waiting! Archers! We await your command!
Well, like overall my favorite. Like for the Hellenic/Latin factions, this is my favorite voice actor.
Noble horse archers! See all!
Like, he's gone for definitely a stronger melee capable army. Now, I don't know why you'd want to activate that like right now, but he activated Caesar's abilities. Now, I would never recommend you to do it like right now because the battle hasn't even started yet.
Force to command. Advance at speed. At the double.
Noble horse archers!
Quickly now.
I'm trying to keep my army all together because let's just say I try to, flank with my cav. That would be fine because he doesn't have slingers. All right. However, the problem is that he'd probably have no choice but to force my cav off my flanks, and that could cause problems for these two legionary, this legionary cohort and this principes. So I'm not going to take the risk and just try to flank him.
Archers! Missiles awaiting targets. Orders understood. Yes, Commander.
Spear infantry at your command.
Hoplites! Understood.
Noble horse archers!
Hoplites!
Move the legs now! Noble horse archers!
Riders! Advance!
Riders!
See, if this unit tries to, I'm not sure what he's trying to do right now.
Advance at speed!
Like, I know for a fact that I think he's trying
Forward!
to get my cav. I have to keep on microing them on this side because he's just gonna throw his javelins.
To go! Guide our shots!
And then of course he's gonna try to
Hoplites ready! Step!
he's gonna try to get them.
Hoplites! Quick man!
And I could just keep on dragging this out
Vessel ready and eager! Riders advance!
for as long as I can, really.
Hoplites ready!
Risking his general like that is probably not a good idea.
Noble horse archers! Noble horse archers!
Our aim is true!
Archers! Ready! Hoplites!
The men are wavering. Our general is under attack.
Archers! Yes, Commander! Back, men, back! Draw your weapons!
No, not yet.
Forward! Riders, forward! Weapons ready! Noble horse archers!
Hoplites ready!
At your service!
Hoplites! Form phalanx!
Noble horse archers!
Our aim is true! An entire unit has perished! We await your command!
Horse archers! Hoplites! As you command!
At speed!
Noble horse archers! Quickly now! Riders, advance! Fire on them! Horse archers! Riders, forward!
Warriors eager for blood! Withdraw! Our men flee the field of battle! This is a shameful display.